Well, hello, Julie, and happy Mother's Day. My name is Bob. I work at the National Corvette Museum, and I'm friends with Bryce and Kayla. And I've met Denny. In fact, not too long ago, I interviewed him, and I can tell you right now, he was better on this end of the camera than I am. This is like take 7. So hopefully, I'll get through this thing and be able to give you some valuable information now that you're new to bonsai. The very first piece of advice I would give you is begin to think of your tree not as decoration, but as a pet. A bonsai, well, like if you with your pet, you want to make sure your pet is happy, right? You feed it, you keep an eye on it. If something goes wrong, if it seems sick, you pay extra close attention to it, and you make sure that it's happy. And that's the beauty of bonsai, is that not only is it like living art because you're sculpting it and helping it take shape, but you're also the person that it depends on to live. And in return for that, there's a lot of great enjoyment. This bonsai right here is 13 years old, and I just can't tell you how much I enjoy taking care of it. And it gives back beauty. I mean, you just look at that, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So basically your bonsai is going to need 5 things: water, food, sunlight. It's going to need you to watch its environment, and it's going to need you to do some maintenance on it. So let's go through some of those basics right now. On this tree, you'll notice that the dirt kind of comes up. It's on a hill, right? To water this, I have to spray it down first, mist it, so that all this gets wet and packed down, and then slowly water it. You water until water starts coming out of the bottom of it. So I might just keep filling it up, fill it up, keep just kind of hit it all the way around. And then as soon as the water starts to form underneath here, I know I've done enough. It's like on this one, you'll see that the dirt is about a ½ inch underneath the lip of the pot. This allows me to water it all the way up to the top of that lip, and you notice it made a great big giant pool. And that means that allows it to soak in evenly all the way through. Regular tap water is fine. You don't need distilled water, you don't need anything special, just regular tap water will do it. As far as when to water your tree, that depends on the tree. The trick is to only water it when the soil's when it's dry. So I put my finger in the soil every day, and if it's a little moist, I'll let it go. If it's pretty much dry totally, then I will go ahead and fill it up and give it a watering. Chances are your tree was shipped with nursery soil, so it's going to hold on to the water a little bit more than it would if it were in bonsai soil. A bonsai soil is basically, at least stuff I use, is a mixture of these small rocks and tree bark. And basically what happens here is these rocks and the bark are a little bit on the absorbent side, so it keeps the roots moist, but it also allows air to form in there and lets those roots breathe as well. You don't want them to dry out, but it's okay for them to have air, and this gives them that. It also helps prevent root rot, so that's another thing. So for this year, while you're waiting to transplant your tree, just make sure you don't overwater. And you may want to get one of those water meters, and it's one that's usually got a long prong on it, and you can put it down in the middle of the pot and really see what's going on under the soil. And that's probably a good idea for you to get one of those while your tree is still in regular soil. But again, once you have it in bonsai soil, that's not quite the same issue. Number 2, food. You can use like Miracle Grow food. This is actually the wrong one. This is for blooming houseplants. Just get the regular houseplant kind. Or this is the stuff I use. I use Schultz Plant Food Plus. And basically, I take this and you put 4 droppers full in a gallon of water, and then you put that in your watering can, and every 2 weeks my trees get fed. Your tree wants to live outside, and that's a hard truth for some bonsai people to get a hold of, because they want it inside where they can enjoy it. The problem is, though, again, go back to that first piece of advice, treating your tree like it is a pet. It's important to let your tree live outside, because that's where it was born to live. So if you've got a spot outside where you can put your tree and let it get some indirect sunlight all day, let it get some rainwater, let it, enjoy being a tree, you can always bring it inside for if you're entertaining, or if you just feel like having it there for decoration, just because. You can still bring it in, but during the summer months, the spring, summer, and the very beginning of fall, I try to leave as many of my trees as I can outside. If you have a tree that is a tropical, it has to come inside in the winter. Otherwise, it's going to have some real serious problems. If it's like this juniper, however, this needs to be outside for the winter, at least for part of it, for a few weeks, because that's when it goes dormant. And when your tree goes dormant, that's the same thing as it taking a nap. If you don't ever let a tree rest, it's going to get tired and eventually it will get weak. But this tree is going to be it's going to live a long time because it gets to sleep once a year. If you have a tropical tree, it's going to go dormant too, but it's kind of going to go dormant on its own. So you'll notice that the tree isn't as active. It's not giving you a whole lot of leaves. It might even get just a little bit bare, but that's its way of resting, and you shouldn't really get panicky about it. Because your tree does want to live. Just keep taking care of it, and all of a sudden you'll see it coming back up. Trimming your tree is really important. If you have something like a Chinese elm, keeping those big leaves from getting too big allows smaller leaves to grow, and it stimulates the growth. Once every 2 years, it's good to take your tree out of the pot and trim up the root ball and use new bonsai soil. And I'll do another video showing how to do that. So, sum it all up, remember, your tree is a pet. It's not a decoration, even though you can use it as one every now and then, and feel free to do that. Get other people into bonsai as well. And remember, you need to check it every day for water. Make sure it has access to the sun every day. Feed it every 2 weeks. Make sure that it's, wherever it is, that it's happy. And remember that you do have to do that maintenance on it by trimming the roots every couple of years and repotting it and trimming up the leaves whenever you think they need it. And that just about covers it. I hope you have fun. Until next time, be blessed.